GameSpot presents Now Playing. Today we're going to have a little look at Madden NFL 12, courtesy of Anthony Demento from EA, who's here to tell us all about this year's game. Anthony, thanks a lot for sitting down.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so how have you approached development on Madden NFL 12?
This year our focus was really on the core and listening to what the fans wanted and getting the type of features they wanted. And we're going to hop into game right now and take a look at my favorite part of the game, which is the broadcast presentation.
Okay.
We really focused on capturing everything you see on Sunday and how you see it. So once we get in here, you'll see we got blimp shots for all 32 NFL teams. We worked pretty closely with CBS this year to figure out where they place cameras in the stadium and how they film everything, how they do their camera cuts, and you'll see a lot of that in the replays. We even took it the next step and placed cameras in the actual places they're placed in all 32 NFL stadiums. So the camera cuts you'll see on replays in Soldier Field, which we have for the first time this year, will be different than what you would see in Lambeau. So, this is the blimp shot I just mentioned from Soldier Field in the snow.
A little bit of water on the lens there.
A little bit of water on the lens up in the blimp. We have authentic runouts for all 32 NFL teams with the mascots, so you see Staley there doing his little dance, getting ready to lead the guys out there. Got all the pyro in, and we really made an effort to make this all authentic as possible. So we watched a lot of reference and tried to time our pyro and everything exactly like it is on Sunday.
Now, one of the interesting things that you guys have done with the presentation this year is actually mocapping some camera guys. Is that correct?
Yeah, you'll see a little shake here on the camera. This is what we call decam technology. So we got actual NFL film cameramen, brought them down to our mocap studio, and hooked up their actual cameras with our little motion capture devices. And they had a little screen on their camera that would show them a scene like this, and we let them kind of move around the field. So this is an actual NFL cameraman coming in and filming this, and that's how we get that shake. And it's the little bit of error that makes it feel so authentic. Brand new presentation package here, you'll see, and the camera makes a huge difference. It was one of the things I was really hoping we got to this year. So a lot of the replays last year, you just see a ball spinning through the air, which it's not broadcast, it's not what you see on Sunday, and that's really what we're trying to capture.
So with the snow falling right here, I feel like we should maybe address weather in this year's game. What should fans expect out of that?
We got all the same weather this year, but you'll see how it affects the field differently. So visually, one of our big upgrades is the uniform degradation and also field degradation. And with the 3D grass that was implemented this year, we also have kick-up, depending on where you're playing, what kind of field you're playing on. So if I'm playing on natural grass, it's going to kick up grass. If I'm playing on field turf, it's going to kick up those little pellets. So you see here, this is our broadcast camera shot for the kickoffs. Like I said, this is going to be a different shot here in Soldier Field than it would be in any other stadium in the NFL. And you can see there, if you look closely, as the guys are cutting, it's actually kicking up snow.
Okay.
So that's how the weather is going to affect that type of thing. Another example of our decam shots here with the NFL film cameraman filming Aaron Rodgers running out into the field. Some other small upgrades you'll see. We made some changes to our pre-play audible system. Nothing as drastic as Strategy Pad last year, but we did make improvements to Strategy Pad so that it's a little easier to pull up. And thankfully, my defense is solid, so I'll take over here.
So while we're transitioning from offense real quick, one of the features that you guys added was game flow. What sort of reaction did you get from that?
Game flow was really positive last year. I think it made the game a lot more accessible to our more casual fans, and I think people really embraced it. Our hardcore guys are always going to want to call their own plays, and you can still do that at any time. And I can show you an example here. So in between plays, we have get the little more broadcast package here. I've wanted this for years, so I'm really excited to see this little banner here.
Oh yeah.
So you'll see here, you can always hit X to pull up your full playbook, and with game flow now, you have the option of going with your game plan. You can choose to just go with a straight pass, or you can choose to just go with a straight run. It's almost a throwback to the old style of football games, and simplifying things even more for those guys who really don't want to get into the X's and the O's of the game. You'll see on tackles too, this is one of the biggest upgrades I think, is we made a lot of tweaks to collision, and what we did was we changed it so that the actual animations don't play until the players on the field make contact with each other. It sounds minor, but it eliminates one of our biggest problems that fans have always been complaining about, which is suction. Where we would start these animations last year and in the years past from a yard or two out, and it would cause the defensive players to kind of warp into different parts of the offensive players' bodies. This year you'll see right there, like a two-man tackle, guys can actually steal tackles, and that second guy who hits Forte right there, he's actually driving him off and sending him in a different direction. 4th and inches, I got to go for it.
You got to do it.
And they keep the offense out there on 4th down.
I do advocate sim football, though, for all our hardcore fans.
When you're playing for the camera, sometimes you have to cheese it up a little bit.
And I didn't make it. It's that Packer defense.
That's a tough defense to get past.
So Clay Matthews kind of got on us last year. I think he had a ponytail last year. He was not happy about that.
So now you gave him a lion's mane?
Yeah.
They'll start at the 19-yard line.
And you'll see now that I'm back on defense, and you saw it on that first interception, we made huge improvements to zone defense. When we first started tweaking with it early in the cycle, it actually became too good. And around Christmas time of last year, we were looking at the game. We were throwing 7 interceptions a game, and we actually had to pull it back a little bit.
Right.
Not to make it less effective, but zone defense is extremely effective this year. It's something I didn't really use a whole lot in years past, but it's definitely a very effective defense, just like it is in the NFL.
And how about those guys who spam the blitz plays? What are they gonna discover this year? Is that
the blocking system has got a nice upgrade, and quarterbacks are going to be more aware, and it kind of leads us into one of our big features this year, which is dynamic player performance. So depending on what's happening on the field there, say I get to Rodgers a couple times, bring him down for a sack, it's going to change the way he plays, but it's going to change it in the way that he actually plays on Sunday. So if I get to Rodgers, he's going to start sensing pressure. He may start to take off and run, start to scramble with the ball a little more, and try to make plays with his feet. Whereas a Jay Cutler, he takes a couple sacks, the guy starts forcing passes into the wrong places and starts tossing interceptions. So it was really an effort to make every player play the way they actually do in real life, and make them feel unique and make them feel authentic. And I think it's something we did a really good job with. You'll get feedback on that changing during the game through commentary. And I don't know if we've had anything change yet, but through the pause menu, there'll be some UI elements that'll show you, what players' traits have changed, how they've changed, and those can always change back during the game. So, like with the example of Rodgers, say he takes a couple sacks and starts trying to make plays with his feet, or actually a better example would be Cutler, who's forcing passes. If he starts to, if he throws a touchdown pass or strings together a couple nice passes in a row, that trait's going to reset, and he's going to go back to playing the way he usually does. So you see there, my favorite play in Madden NFL 12, the halfback draw, which has never been super effective in the past, and I've been able to work it here. I'm playing on Pro, so it's a little easier.
It's always been one of those plays that's required quite a bit of discipline. You have to really commit yourself to believing that one will work.
And you do. Here, I'll mix it up a little bit, run the play action at the end of the quarter.
At the end of the first quarter, it's knotted up. Welcome back to Chicago.
All right, so we'll go ahead and play another quarter here, and while we've got you approaching the red zone here, let's talk about some of the modes in this game. What have you guys done on the franchise mode front?
Well, franchise got some huge upgrades, which is great for me. I'm a huge franchise guy, and I know a lot of our fans were disappointed last year that we didn't make any upgrades to franchise. But this year, the biggest upgrade is we have expanded rosters, so all the teams will have full rosters. They'll have to go through cut days. And the longer you hang on to players during the preseason, you'll have to make cuts after every week in the preseason. the longer you hang on to players, the more likely you are to find some hidden gems. Different ratings will reveal the longer you hang on to them, and you'll be looking for that Danny Woodhead type of guy, that diamond in the rough who like we saw in the preseason, got cut by the Jets and then really found his niche with the Patriots and was a huge contributor for them.
That was a nice little recovery your guy had there after slipping in the snow.
That looked great. I actually haven't seen that too often, but I don't play in the snow all the time. But yeah, another small upgrade. We got surprise onside kicks in. It's kind of an Easter egg in the game. If when I start my kick meter, I hit B at any point, Gould here is going to drop a little squibber in there and try to get it in there. To prevent cheesing that, we only allow it to happen once in online games, so use it wisely. We know we don't want people getting frustrated with their opponents, surprise onside kick every time.
So on the subject of online, how have you approached that facet of the game this year?
We took a long, hard look at the data when we were trying to figure out what we wanted to do online this year, and what we came up with was that most of our gamers are playing either head-to-head ranked games or they're playing the mode that was introduced last year, online team play. One of the biggest kind of shortcomings of online team play last year was that nothing was ranked. We had no leaderboards, no stat tracking, really no persistence from game to game. So that was our focus, and our new feature, communities, will allow you to create 5 communities. You can have up to 2,000 people in them, and you and all your buddies can play ranked team play games against other communities. So your community will be ranked on a leaderboard based on your wins and losses, and all your squad stats will be tracked as well and ranked on a leaderboard. But that's really just the first component of communities. Like I said, you can have up to 2,000 people in it, or you can just have a buddy. My cousin lives in Boston, I live in Orlando, and we play Madden against each other all the time. And we've been using the regular ranked leaderboards over the years to kind of track how we did against each other. This year we can the two of us can join a community and play head-to-head games against each other. We have access to all the game options and all the sliders. That means I can tune penalties the way I want to tune them, and I can set it to 7-minute quarters on all Madden and really customize the game I want to play. And whenever we play against each other online, that's going to be ranked on our own private community leaderboard. All our stats are going to be tracked, and by the end of the year, there's going to be no mistaking who the best player is, and I'll be able to, talk as much smack as I want to him, and there'll be no question about it. And there's really a lot of versatility to the feature as well. I can have that community with just my cousin. I'll have a community with all the guys at Tiburon, and I'll have a community with all my college buddies, and it's going to be as powerful as our fans want it to be. So I'm really excited for the feature. It's something I've been waiting to talk about all year. I know we're holding out to really get into the details of the feature. So I'm super excited to get it in our fans' hands and see how they use it.
All right, sounds good. So we've got a couple minutes of this final quarter here winding down. Let's talk about strategy. You mentioned that halfback draw is a play that's going to be a lot more effective. Any other advice that you can give us on the offensive side of the ball?
I mean, it's with the zone defense. You don't want to force passes. You're going to throw interceptions. Mix your play calling up. I'm going to see how the deep ball goes here with Johnny Knox. When you have a fast guy, that's who you want to look to on your deep balls. We'll see if this actually works out, and it did.
Nice, just running up the scoreboard now.
So, just like in the NFL, you're gonna want to look for your speed guys on your streak routes, your possession receivers over the middle, and mix up your play calling. And my biggest tip, and this is something we don't really expose enough to the users, is when you're in a 2-player game, use your bluffs. So when you're using game flow, and you'll see here on kicks, most people don't know this, but on a kick, and I don't know if this will work in single player, but if I hold A, it's going to hold my kick until I release it. So if I'm playing against an opponent who wants to kind of jump that snap, he's not going to be able to get that timing exactly right. And with game flow and the game plan stuff, as I'm flipping through that run pass stuff, if I hit A and hold it on pass, I can still flip through other options and make him think I'm going to go with a run when I'm actually going to select that pass, which is the first thing I selected. Those bluffs are, they carry over to audibles as well. So when I go into my audible menu, I'll be able to, hold A on my play action pass audible and actually switch around and make them think that I'm going to a deep pass.
All right, Anthony. Well, I think it's a safe bet that the Packers are not going to catch up on your 14-point lead in the next 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So we'll go ahead and end here. But thanks a lot for showing us Madden NFL 12.
Absolutely.